It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed staring at the ceiling. The pain is doing that thing again, spreading, radiating, refusing to stay in one place. Your alarm is set for 6:30. At 9:30, you've got that big meeting, the project deadline, the presentation you absolutely cannot mess up. And yet here you are, eyes wide open, and you whisper to yourself, please, please, just let me sleep. Please let me be functional tomorrow. I cannot afford to be useless. So you start negotiating with your body like it's some kind of hostage situation. 8 hours. Just give me 8 hours. I swear I'll rest this weekend. But here's the thing nobody told me when I was first diagnosed with chronic pain. Your body doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your deadlines. It doesn't respect your ambition. And if you try to keep living by the old rules, it will burn your career to the ground. But here's what I'm going to tell you today, the piece that just might save your career. You can be wildly successful with chronic pain, but only if you're willing to completely blow up everything you thought you knew about productivity. You see, your body doesn't negotiate, but your career can evolve. And that's the difference between burning out and building something sustainable. Welcome back to the Painfully Real podcast, the show where we don't sugarcoat chronic pain. We don't ignore it and we don't pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, we talk about building real, meaningful lives with it. I'm Josh, and today's episode is about building that career. It's about something I had to learn the hard way, how to build a sustainable career while living with pain that doesn't play by the rules. Because I'll be honest, for years, I tried to out hustle my pain. I pushed harder, slept less, said yes to everything. And it worked until it didn't, until the crashes got longer, until the guilt got louder, until I realized I was losing myself, not just my productivity. And that's when I started rewriting the rules. And today I want to share those rules with you. Not tips or hacks, but deep reframes, the kind of shifts that actually change the way you think about success. By the end of this episode, you'll see that it is possible to be ambitious, successful, and fulfilled with chronic pain, but only if you build success on your terms. Let's start at the beginning. Since childhood, most of us have been handed the same script about success. Show up early, stay late, push harder, hustle more, rest is weakness. I lived by that script. I wore it like armor. I was the dependable one, the one who could handle anything, the one who never said no, the one who took pride in showing up no matter what. And then pain showed up. Suddenly pushing through didn't make me stronger. It made me crash. Showing up early meant spending hours just trying to get my body functional enough to walk out the door. Hustle culture. It wasn't noble anymore. It was a one-way ticket to a week in bed. And the worst part wasn't the pain. It was the guilt, the shame of canceling, the fear of letting people down, the voice in my head whispering, you're lazy, you're unreliable, you're failing. But here's the truth I eventually had to face. It wasn't me who was broken. It was the system. Think about it. The 9 to 5 workday was invented during the Industrial Revolution, a system designed for factory floors, not for human variation. It assumed identical bodies, identical energy, identical capacity. That was never reality. But we built entire companies, entire economies, and around that lie. So when chronic pain shows up, you don't suddenly fail at work. You expose how flawed the system was in the first place. And once you see that, the guilt starts to loosen. You realize maybe the answer isn't to keep cramming yourself into a mold that was never meant to fit. Maybe the answer is to build something different. And that's where my story shifts. When I stopped blaming myself and started experimenting, I discovered three reframes that changed everything about how I approach productivity. Now, these aren't hacks, they're mindset shifts, and they saved my career. Your energy management. I used to obsess over time management, color coded calendars, to do lists broken into 15-minute blocks. And every time my body betrayed the schedule, I felt like a failure. But here's what I learned when you live with chronic pain: time is meaningless. You might technically have 8 hours in a day, but only 3 of those hours are usable, and they don't come in neat blocks. So I stopped asking, how much time do I have? And started asking, how much energy do I have? And where should it go? For 3 weeks, I tracked my energy. Nothing fancy, just a quick log. Time of day, energy level 1 to 10, pain levels 1 to 10, what task I was doing, and how well it went. What I discovered shocked me. My sharpest window, 9 to 11 a.m., but only on nights when I slept decently and wasn't in a flare. I also noticed something else. When pain was high, my brain could still handle creative work, but tasks like forms or spreadsheets felt impossible. See, that changed everything. Now I guard my golden hours. Writing, strategy, client calls, those happen in that window. Everything else, like emails or busy work, gets pushed to low energy times. And guess what? I get more done in fewer hours. Think about your last week. When did you feel most alert, most capable, even for a short time? Write down, write that down. That's your goal. That's where you start. Pain is data, not a character flaw. This one was a game changer. I used to send in apology novels when I had to reschedule. I'm so sorry. I know this is unprofessional. I'll make it up to you. Please don't think less of. Now it's a single sentence. I need to reschedule due to a health issue. I'm available Thursday or Friday. No shame, no over explaining, because pain isn't weakness. It's information. It's data, and successful people act on data. If I know that after a flare, I'm slower the next day, I don't schedule deadlines back to back. I build in buffer time. That's not weakness, it's strategy. And when I communicate like that, the right people respect it. And the wrong people, they were never my people anyways. Your third reframe is flexibility is your competitive advantage. For years, I believed my pain made me less than. Like I was competing with one hand tied behind my back. But here's the truth: pain forced me to develop skills most people never do: adaptability, ruthless prioritization, creative problem solving, boundary setting, resilience. And in today's world, those are the exact skills companies and entrepreneurs value most. When the world shifted to remote work, I was already ready. I had been forced to design for flexibility years before. Pain didn't run my career. It forced me to build one that's sustainable, aligned, and truly mine. Now let's get tactical. Here are the strategies that I live by. The minimum effective dose. What's the smallest version that achieves the goal? Shorter meetings, simpler reports, tighter emails. The accommodation audit is: don't wait until you're desperate. Make a list of what would help: flexible deadlines, remote work, ergonomic tools, request proactively. The buffer zone method is: never stack commitments. I only allow myself 2 priorities a day, and I space them apart. And the energy budget. Treat your energy like money. Spend intentionally, no overdrafts, because overdrafts equal flares. Now write down one task that drains you most. And now ask, what's the minimum effective version of this? What accommodation could make it easier? And here's the hardest part: grieving the career you thought you'd have. I had to let go of the version of myself as the ladder climber, the overachiever, the one who impressed everyone. And that's real grief. But once I let myself feel it, I found clarity. What I actually wanted wasn't status, it was freedom, flexibility, impact. And here's the truth: you are not your productivity, you are not your output. You're playing life on hard mode, but winning on hard mode is still winning. Should you tell your boss, your clients? There's no universal answer. But one thing's certain: you don't have to apologize for your needs, ever. Frame it as a working style, not a flaw. I deliver high quality work, but I need flexibility in how I get there. That's not weakness, that's professionalism. So here's your challenge: this track your energy, ask for one accommodation, add buffer time, and redefine what success means to you right now. You don't have to change everything overnight, just one step at a time. You're not failing, you're evolving. And that's strength. Thank you for listening to the Painfully Real podcast. If this resonated, share it. Leave a review or a message. Tell me your story. And until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.